Hey friends, it's Tara, your yoga bestie. Today we're going to be opening up our hearts and rolling around on the floor, just to be completely honest. And I'm going to say it up front because I've noticed it in my classes this week. The rolling around is either really fun or maybe a tad frustrating. So just know that you're not alone either way, and I'll be giving you some options anyway. So let's go ahead and make our way to our mats in any comfortable position that you like. So reclined, seated, child's pose, whatever feels best to you. It looks like Lionel's gonna do seated today, so that's always nice, but just check in with your breath. So if you're in the seated position, maybe make sure that you feel those sit bones sit up nice and tall. If you're reclined, try to draw those shoulder blades in towards one another, allowing your heart to lift. And if you're in child's pose, just allowing the floor to kind of support you as we close our eyes, start to inhale and exhale through the nose. So our ujjayi breath is an audible breath. So we're gonna hear a snoring-like sound in the back of the throat, kind of like we're fogging up a mirror with our nose. And we can start out by inhaling to the count of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhaling 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And just continue with this rhythm. Obviously, you can always add or subtract any counts, just kind of finding a rhythm that feels good with you, which might change throughout the practice, but really focused on that inhale where we expand the side bodies and the rib cage, and that nice long exhalation, allowing your body to fully surrender and let go as you kind of set yourself up for our practice today. And this week, I've moved into the 4th chakra, which is the heart chakra. So you might envision a nice color green shining from your chest here because the heart chakra is associated with the color green. Other things it's associated with is air. I love the Sanskrit word for the 4th chakra. It's Anahata, which translates directly to unstruck, which just resonates really nicely. Other things that the 4th chakra are known for are things like love, compassion, sight, care, understanding, interconnectedness. And our affirmation this week that I'm offering you up that coincides with the 4th chakra is, I am connected to the infinite supply of love. Bless you. Again, that's, I am connected to the infinite supply of love. So you might inhale the words, I am connected, exhale the words, to the infinite supply of love. And on your next inhale, let's find some movement, whatever feels nice and organic, and we'll make our way to a seated position where we'll bring our hands together at our heart center in our Anjali Mudra, setting our intention for our practice today, which again might be our affirmation of I am connected to the infinite supply of love, or maybe something else comes to mind that resonates with you today. Please honor that. And we'll take another big breath in here. Exhale, let it go. And then when you're ready, we're gonna make our way into a tabletop position. So coming onto our hands and knees and just finding some movement here. So it might be some lateral movement, like you're making the letter U or C with the body. You might find some cat-cow movement, or you might make some circles with the body, like working those hips down as you inhale forward, working those hips back as you exhale, like you're coming near your child's pose, and just kind of finding some movement here, just kind of seeing what you're working with today. We'll then meet in a child's pose where we'll tuck all 10 toes under, so getting a nice stretch in the feet, maybe finding a little bit of a wiggle from side to side as we spread through the fingers. And then we can make our way into our first down dog. Maybe keeping a bend in the knees, we move those hips from side to side, or we might start to bicycle the legs right away, just kind of checking in. And also take note of what your breath is doing as you come into this upside down shape. You want to make sure that you're not holding it here. So continuing with those nice deep breaths in and out through the nose. And then let's walk our hands to the back of our mat. So hands to feet as we come into our forward fold. You can separate your feet as much as you'd like, maybe reaching for opposite elbows, hanging like a rag doll, maybe bringing the arms behind the back, or whatever arm variation you like. You can also walk your hands from side to side, breathing into each side as you walk through. And then let's roll all the way up to standing. As soon as our head lifts, we'll reach those arms up, maybe find a little bit of a back bend, and then we'll exhale, coming back into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse swan dive. So we'll reach those arms out and up, finding that back bend, and then we'll exhale back into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And then let's walk our hands all the way forward into our plank or push-up position, nice and strong. Big breath in, filling up the side bodies. And then as we exhale, we'll slowly lower for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1. We make our way all the way down, tops of the feet coming to the mat. Hands are underneath the shoulders as we start to find some cobra pose, or those back bends. Just inhale, lifting up. Exhale, lowering at the pace of your breath. Feel free to change up anything. Nice. And we'll make our way back into our down dog from here. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, go ahead and lower the knees down. We're going to come back into that child's pose with the toes tucked under. So maybe find a little bit of a wiggle here. We'll start to move into our warm up. So from this space, we're going to lift up the torso, keeping those toes tucked under. We're coming into a half camel. So we're going to bring that left hand to the small of our back. That's one option as we reach the right arm up, or we can reach for that heel. We just want to make sure that we're moving those hips forward, and then our gaze starts to lift up. Nice. So then we're just going to switch it out. So we'll bring the right hand down, either to the small of our back or to that heel, working those hips forward. Gaze could be up or back towards your right fingertips. We'll reach the right arm up. We'll reach the left arm up. Yeah, one more each side. Right arm up. And then left arm up. And then gaze straight ahead. Bring the arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers, working those shoulders down as you lift up through the chest. We're coming into rabbit pose. So we're going to start to hinge forward, bringing that head down, close toward the knees. Hello. And we lift that torso back up. We're going to step the right foot forward, making sure that we're right above the kneecap as we start to kind of pulse into this supported crescent pose that we're in for the first time. So breathing into that hip flexor. And then we'll inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, come into a humble warrior variation. So both shoulders are going to come to the inside of that right foot, letting the head relax, chin draws into chest. And your head may not touch the mat. That's actually very unusual, so no worries there. Big breath in. And then as we exhale, we're going to release those hands down. We're going to stay low, but we're going to pick up the back knee. And we're going to bring that right leg back, keeping it bent as we come onto our bellies. So I told you we're going to do a lot of rolling on our mats. So this is an introduction to rolling. So we're going to bring that right leg behind so we come into a seated position. And we're set up for Wild Thing. So please know that for Wild Thing, the leg that's extended, your hand will be near that. That's going to be the one that you push into the mat with. The leg that's bent, that's the arm that's going to go upward. And we'll come onto the ball of our foot as we lift up into Wild Thing. Gaze can be past those fingertips as we lift up the hips. Taking a full breath in here. And then as we exhale, we'll lower the seat. We roll back onto our bellies, and then we switch out bent legs. So now left leg is going to bend as we come up to seated. Long leg, hand is down. Bent leg, arm is up as we come into Wild Thing here. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll lower our seat. So let's move with more pacing. We're going to come back onto our bellies, switch out legs. Inhale, Wild Thing. Exhale, lower. We come onto our bellies and we spin the other direction. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, lower. It's kind of fun, actually. And then we're going to stop where we're going to where our right foot is onto the floor of the mat and the left leg is extended. And we're going to lift up. From here, we're moving into a gate pose. So you're going to gaze towards your left hand. You're going to bring your right hand down, if you'd like, and bring that right knee to the center of your mat. So it's kind of the center and center of the mat, coming into a gate pose. So right arm will reach up overhead as that left leg is extended. Breathing into the side body. Big inhale. And then as we exhale, bring that hand down, supported side plank, so we can keep that leg down. We could also bend that leg, reaching for the foot or ankle, creating a back bend. Foot would push into the hand to draw that chest up towards the ceiling. Inhale. As we exhale, releasing any variation, we're going to swing that left leg to the top, and we're going to bring that right foot to meet it as we come into our forward fold. Let's roll it up. As soon as our head lifts, we'll reach those arms up overhead, maybe find a little bit of a back bend here, and then we'll exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, lengthening halfway. Hands plant. We can step it back to our plank or push-up position. We can go right to down dog, or if you want to move through a vinyasa, we can lower maybe to a hover this time, chaturanga. Inhaling into your cobra or up dog. Exhaling into your down dog, lifting up those hips nice and high. And take a big breath in here. As we exhale, lower the knees down. Find that child's pose with the toes tucked under. Maybe find a little bit of a wiggle here. Check in with the breath. And then we'll lift up the torso for our half camel. So this time left arm is up, right hand is down. And then we'll switch it out. Right arm is up, left arm is down. And we'll do that a couple more times. Left arm, right arm, left arm, right arm. And then we'll gaze straight ahead, bringing the arms behind the back, interlacing the unusual way. So opposite will be on top as we lift up through the chest, moving into that rabbit setup. So we're going to bring our head down. Our hips will lift to feel that opening in the upper back. And then we'll lift up our torso as we step the left foot forward, coming into our supported crescent pose. So again, having little pulses here, easing into that hip flexor. And the next time that we hinge forward, we'll come into that variation of warrior. So both shoulders will come to the inside of that left knee as you let your head relax, chin draws into chest, keeping a long neck. Big breath in. Both hands down, we stay low, but we pick up that back knee. And we're coming onto our belly, so left leg is bent as we start to move into those rolls. So we're gonna roll towards the right. Inhale, wild thing. Exhale, lower our seat. We roll to the left, switch out legs. Inhale to wild thing. Exhale, lower. We roll, switch out legs. Inhale, wild thing. This time, because when we bring it into the sequence, we'll do it 3 times. So we're gonna gaze forward, and then we're gonna bring that knee to the center, this time facing the other side of the mat. That right leg's extended as the left arm comes up and overhead. Breathing into that side body. Inhale. As we exhale, bring that hand down, come into your supported side plank, your variation. So always have that option of reaching for the foot or ankle to come into the back bend if you like that. Big breath in. And then as you exhale, release any variation. Swing that leg to the top of the mat. Left foot's gonna meet the right foot at the top of the mat as we find our forward fold. Let it go. And then we'll roll it up to standing. Soon as our head lifts, let's reach those arms up overhead. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Hands plant as we make our way to our down dog, however you like. Once you find that down dog, big breath in. Exhale, let it go. We'll soften our knees, gazing forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Let's reverse swan dive all the way up. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhale to your cobra or up dog. Exhaling into your down dog. Full breath in. Exhale. Let's move through one more of these sunnies. So we'll soften the knees, gazing forward as we step or float to the top. Inhale, lengthening. Exhale, forward fold. We'll reverse, reaching it up and back. Exhale into our forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we step or float back. Lowering or hovering. Inhale, cobra or up dog. Exhaling, down dog. We'll take a big breath in here. Exhale, lower the knees. Check in with your breath. If you need to get a drink of water or get a towel or just take a moment just to close your eyes and check in with your breath, that's perfect. Maybe refer back to our affirmation of, I am connected to the infinite supply of love. Because we're going to start to move into our first main sequence of the practice, which I like to call peanut butter. In my class, we do two main sequences. The second one is jelly. Each one we do a little bit slower in the beginning, depending on how much we did in the warm-up, which we were able to get into both of them in the warm-up today. And then we start to pick up the pacing to repeat twice. And then at the end, we bring those two sequences together for one delicious peanut butter and jelly flow. So we're going to start out in our child's pose with our toes tucked under. So check in with your breath. And then we're going to lift up. Right arm reaches up for our half camel. And then left arm reaches up. So we're only doing it once on each side. And then we gaze straight ahead as we bring those arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers. Inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, bring it forward, setting up for your rabbit pose where you'll lift up those hips. And then we'll lift up the torso. Right foot steps forward. We're going to release the hands, reaching the arms up overhead, or you can find goalpost arms or whatever feels nice to you. Just make sure that with your foot, you're pushing the floor away with the ball mound so you're not gripping with your toes here like you're creating talons. And then we'll tuck our back toes under as we lift up that back knee, coming into our arrow lunge. So arms could extend, arms could come back. If you like those goalpost arms, maybe you keep them here. You could have your hands on your hips. So lots of different options, just determining what you like best. And make sure that you're feeling your core engaged, so belly button draws into spine as you're kind of hovered over this thigh. One more breath in. Exhale. And then we come into star pose. We're going to face the long edge of our mat. Arms could extend. This is how we'll start out. And then we're going to bring the hands behind the head, using your hands as a basket to kind of lean back so you can open up more through the chest. And then we're going to close, kind of like we're coming into cat-cow. So we'll inhale, opening, exhale, close. So just start to familiarize yourself with this. We'll only do one of these as we pick up our pace. But the next time that you lean back, open up through the chest, we'll extend our arms. Oh, and you might want to block because we're coming to the back of our mat for our half moon pose. So you could have a block there, or you could bring your fingertips in front of those toes as you lift up. Keeping in the theme of heart openers, you might want to reach for that foot or ankle, coming into your over the moon pose, variation of half moon. Big breath in. As we exhale, we're coming into our forward fold at the back of our mat. So let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Option to make your way to your down dog, but actually your child's pose. So to get there, feel free. Totally up to you. We'll have those toes tucked under as we sit back. And then we'll inhale, lifting up the torso. Left arm reaches up for our half camel. And then we switch it out. We gaze straight ahead, bringing the arms behind the back, interlacing the unusual way as we inhale, lifting up through the chest. Exhale, bring it forward. Set it up for that rabbit pose. And then lift up the torso. Left foot steps forward, arms can reach, or whatever arm variation you like. Breathing into the chest. And then we'll tuck the back toes under as we move into our arrow lunge. So hinging that torso forward. Find your arm variation. Try not to squeeze the mat with those toes. Big breath in. Exhale. And then face that long edge of the mat for star pose. We'll bring the hands behind the head as we inhale, opening up to the chest. Exhale, we close. And then we'll open again. We'll reach those arms out. And then we're moving into half moon at the top of our mat. So maybe taking that block, if that's helpful. And then from here, we find our forward fold at the top of the mat. Nice. So we're going to start to pick up the pace on this. We'll roll it up. Arms reach up overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen halfway. Hands plant. Make your way to down dog however you like. From that down dog, knees lower, toes are tucked as we find that child's pose. On our inhale, we'll reach the right arm up. And then we'll reach the left arm up. And then we'll gaze straight ahead, interlacing the fingers. Inhale. Exhale, moving into our rabbit pose. Lift up those hips. Lift up the torso. Right foot steps forward as arms reach. And then back toes tuck under as we find that arrow lunge. Open it up to star. Inhale, sit into that basket. Exhale, close. Inhale, we open and extend. Exhale, moving into that half moon to the back of your mat or are over the moon. Big breath here. Exhale, come into your forward fold. Let's roll it up. Arms reach up and back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant as we make our way to our down dog. From our down dog, lower those knees, toes are tucked, child's pose. We lift up the torso, half camel, left arm reaches. And then right arm reaches. And then we gaze straight ahead. Hands come behind the back the unusual way as the heart lifts. And we bring it forward, setting up for our rabbit pose. Torso. Left foot steps forward, arms can reach. And then back toes tuck under as we hinge it forward for arrow lunge. We open it up to star. Hands come behind the head, inhale. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, we extend. Exhale's our transition into our half moon or over the moon. Big breath in. Exhale, come into your forward fold. Awesome, we'll roll it up. Arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, we lengthen. Hands plant. Make your way there however you like. Totally optional to take the vinyasa. We'll bring those knees down, coming into that child's pose with toes tucked under. Inhale, half camel right arm. Left arm. Gaze straight ahead as the arms come behind the back. Exhale, bring it forward. Lift those hips. Inhale, torso lifts as the right foot steps forward, arms reach. And then back toes tuck under as we hinge into that arrow lunge. Open it up to star. Inhale. Exhale, close. Inhale, extend. Exhale's our transition to move into half moon as we inhale, lift. Maybe find over the moon. Exhale, close it off, forward fold. We roll it up, arms reach. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen. Hands plant, making your way to your down dog. From that down dog, we lower the knees, toes are tucked under. Inhale, half camel, left arm reaches. right arm reaches. Interlace the unusual way as we lift, and then bring it forward, setting up for that rabbit pose as we lift up the hips. We lift up the torso, left foot steps forward, arms reach. Back toes tuck under as we hinge it into that arrow lunge. Open it up for your star pose. Inhale, sit it back. Exhale, we close. Inhale, open, extend those arms. And then we move into that half moon at the top of our mat or our over the moon. And we move into our forward fold. How you doing? That means that the peanut butter part is done. We're moving into jelly, so maybe you feel like that. We're gonna meet at the top of our mat in mountain pose, but this is what I like, many things I like, but one of the things I like about it, having peanut butter and jelly, is that there's always a little time for like just checking in between each one. So good time to get a drink of water. When you're ready, we can come to the top of the mat, maybe placing our hand onto our rib cage, really focused on feeling that expansion as you inhale, feeling it draw in as you exhale. As you come into this space, we can refer back to our affirmation of I am connected to the infinite supply of love. Again, I am connected to the infinite supply of love. All right, so we're gonna move into our jelly sequence. We start at the top of the mat, like I said, and we're going to bring that left knee up for one-legged mountain so you could reach those arms up overhead. As you lift that leg up, try to think about lifting it up and then drawing towards the center line. That's where you're gonna find that stability. Anytime we draw towards the center line of our body, it becomes more stable. And then as we exhale, we're taking a big step back into warrior one. So we're gonna, for me, I have very short legs, so I'm gonna have to make some adjustments here. Really walking that right foot out a little bit, keeping a nice, strong, straight back leg so that I can go deeper into this forward leg, making sure that that knee doesn't go past the ankle. And then we're gonna bring the arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers, coming into our humble warrior. So we did the kind of like the variation in our warm-up. Now we're in the full humble warrior, so we can lift up through the chest. Exhale, bringing both shoulders to the inside of that right knee as we let that head relax. Maybe shake the head out. Take a big breath in. And as we exhale, we'll release those hands, we stay low, and we're coming onto our belly, so right leg stays bent. We're gonna get our roll on now. So we're gonna roll to the left, and then we inhale, wild thing. We lower our seat, we roll to the right, switch out legs, inhale, wild thing. Lower the seat, we roll, we switch out legs, inhale, wild thing. And then we bring that right knee to the center of our mat, coming into gate pose. So left leg is extended, right arm comes up overhead. So we're leaning towards the back of the mat. And then right hand comes down, supported side plank. So keep that foot there, lift it. Maybe find your back bend here, opening up through the chest. And then we're gonna swing that left leg to the top of the mat. Right leg is gonna swing back. We're gonna tuck those toes under because we're coming into reverse warrior, so we're in warrior two legs as we reach up and over, breathing into that left side body. Big breath in. Exhale. And then bring that arm down, gaze forward. We're coming into our one-legged mountain, so we're bringing that right knee up with us. So we go right into our second side, so we're moving through this as an infinity flow. So we'll bring that knee in. We step it back, coming into our warrior one legs. Arms come behind the back, interlacing the fingers. We'll lift up through the chest. And as we exhale, we shift it forward, coming into that full humble warrior. Big breath in. As we exhale, we stay low, but we release the warrior. And we come onto our bellies, keeping the left leg bent. So we're gonna lean in towards or we're gonna roll to the right. Coming into our wild thing, we lift up, we lower, we roll, switching out legs. Inhale, wild thing. We lower, we roll, switching out legs. Inhale. This time we come into gate pose so we can bring that left hand down, bringing that knee to the center. Right leg's extended as we reach up and over, breathing into that left side body. And then left hand comes down for supported side plank, keeping that foot down, lifting, maybe finding that foot or ankle, having it push into the hand. And then we release that, swinging that foot all the way to the front, swing the left leg back, setting up for reverse warrior. So warrior 2 legs as we reach up and over, breathing into that right side body. Big breath in. Exhale. And then gaze towards the top of your mat. We're going right into the other side. So bringing that left knee in towards your chest. Arms can reach up. And then we step it back. Warrior 1 to our humble warrior. Arms come behind the back. Exhale, bring it forward. Stay low as the hands come down onto the belly. We roll to the left. Inhale, wild thing. Lower. We roll to the right, switch out legs. Inhale, wild thing. Lower. We roll left. Inhale, wild thing. And we move into our gate pose by bringing that knee to the center, and reaching up and over with that. Hand comes down as we move into that supported side plank, or you find your variation. And then we swing that foot to the top, swing the other leg to the back. Inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, bring those hands down. Right knee comes into chest as we move into our one-legged mountain. And we step it back. Inhale. Exhale into our humble warrior. Hands come down. Left leg stays bent as we lower. And then we roll. Wild thing. Lower, we roll. Wild thing. Lower, we roll. Wild thing. And then we bring that knee to the center as we face the other long edge of the mat, reaching that left arm overhead, so leaning towards the right leg this time. And then left hand comes down, supported side plank. Find your version. And then we swing that foot to the top of the mat, moving into that reverse warrior as we reach up and back. All right, one more time through. So we're gonna gaze straight ahead. Left knee draws into chest, one-legged mountain. Step it back, humble warrior. Come onto that belly. Roll to the left, wild thing. Roll to the right, wild thing. Roll to the left, wild thing. To gate pose, reaching that arm up overhead. And then bringing that hand down. Supported side plank. Swing that left foot to the top, back toes tucked under as we inhale, reverse warrior. Exhale, gaze straight ahead. Right knee comes in the chest. And we step it back. Humble warrior. Lower to your belly. Roll to the right. Wild thing. Roll to the left. Wild thing. Roll to the right. Wild thing. And then we come into gate pose. Reaching that left arm up and over. Hand comes down, so we move into our supported side plank. Swing that right foot forward. Inhale into the reverse warrior. Exhale. Make your way to your down dog or child's pose. How we doing? I know if it got confusing, you're like, I don't know. That's okay. It's okay. It's practice. So if it became confusing, the best thing you could do is just check in with your breath. But my favorite part is coming up, where we bring both of the sequences together. I get so excited when we have our peanut butter and jelly time. Side note, definitely listen to the peanut butter and jelly song that little John has out with Twista for Lunchables. Pretty exciting. Anyway, let's just check in. We're gonna do this one more time, bring these two together, and you're gonna do amazing because your body's already been there several times and I'm excited for you. So let's check in with our breath. Let's check in with our affirmation. I am connected to the infinite supply of love. So you've got so much loving energy as you go into this. And let's come into our child's pose with our toes tucked under.
And give yourself your pep talk because you've got this shit all day long. You're going to do amazing. All right, so inhale, right arm lifts,
Half camel. Left arm. Gaze straight ahead as the arms come behind the back. We inhale, lift up through the chest. Exhale, we bring it forward as we
step up to our rabbit pose.
and then we lift up, right foot steps forward. Back toes tuck under as we come into our arrow lunge. Into our star, hands come behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, we close. And then extend those arms out, moving into your half moon or over the moon if you like. And this is our transition into our jelly. So we're gonna bring that knee in close to the body so that we can come up. It's okay if it's wobbly, one-legged mountain. Step it back, humble warrior. Hands release as we come onto our bellies. Time to roll it around. So we roll to the right. Inhale, wild thing. Lower, we roll to the left. Switch out. Wild thing. We roll. Wild thing, and then bring that hand down. Gate pose here. Reaching that right arm up and over. And then left hand comes the back of your mat. We lift up, finding that supported side plank. Maybe we have hold of that foot. And then we swing that right foot to the back of the mat. Inhale into our reverse warrior. Exhale, make your way to your down dog, which means the first side is done. Once you find your down dog, find your child's pose, check in with breath. All right, let's lift it up, half camel, left arm lifts. And then right arm lifts. Gazing to the back, we'll bring those arms behind the back, interlacing the fingers as we lift chest, and then moving into our rabbit pose, where our hips will lift. And bring the torso up, left foot steps forward, arms reach. Arrow lunge, back toes tuck under. To our star pose. Hands come behind the head as we inhale. Exhale, we close. Inhale, open it up. Half moon to the top of the mat. And then our transition into jelly. So bend that knee. Come all the way forward into your one-legged mountain. It can be wobbly, it's okay. And then we step that foot back. Humble warrior, arms come back behind us the unusual way as we lift up the chest. Exhale, bring it forward. And then hands lower, right leg bends as we come onto our belly. And we roll to the left. Wild thing. We roll to the right. Wild thing. Roll to the left. Wild thing. Moving into our gate pose. Left leg is extended, right arm comes up overhead. And then we bring that right hand down. Supported side plank. Maybe one last back bend here. Swing that left foot to the top. Back toes tuck under as we come into our reverse warrior. And we'll exhale, making our way to our down dog. Which means you did it. I'm so excited for you. So check in with the breath. In fact, if you're in down dog, get out of down dog. Just come to your seat. Check in. You can swing your legs forward. You can have any of your props, show them nearby. And we're gonna come into a reverse table. So hands and feet on the mat. We lift up those hips, keeping your gaze forward up at the ceiling. Drop back. Our little anti-chaturanga pose for 5, 4, 3, 2, on 1, lower the seat. Let's reach our arms forward as we draw the chin in towards our chest, and we'll slowly make our way onto our backs, one vertebra at a time. We can bring that right ankle to meet the left, coming into a reclined pigeon pose. This might be plenty, or maybe you lift up that foot, you can interlace underneath the knee or across the shin. Maybe rocking here, using your elbow as leverage to push that knee further forward. Great work today. Thanks for rolling around and opening up your heart with me. From here, we'll move into a spinal twist. So you can keep that knee up, or you can let it relax, maybe gazing past the right fingertips. Big breath in. Exhale. And then we'll bring our gaze and our legs to center. We'll switch it out. So left ankle will meet the right knee this time. Find your version. One side might be different than the other side. Totally normal, totally cool. Big breath in. Exhale, we'll release for our spinal twist here. So let the legs fall over towards the right. Find your version. Big breath in. Exhale. And we'll come back to center. Give your legs a hug. Check in. If there's anything else that you need, do it. Otherwise, let's come to our final pose of Shavasana. Nice wide stance with the legs, letting the arms come down by the sides, palms face up. Taking up space on your mat. We take up space on our mat because our lives are a reflection of our practice. So the idea is if we take up space here, we take up space once we go out into the world. And as you come here, have so much gratitude for yourself for showing up. So much gratitude for the hard work you put in. And so much gratitude for this feeling that you created. And be proud of yourself because you did amazing. So now just let the breath be soft, the body still, as we find Shavasana. Feel free to stay here as long as you like. Otherwise, start to incorporate some movements like wiggling your fingertips and your toes. Reach arms up overhead, getting a nice full body stretch as you awaken to this new body. And then bringing the knees into your chest, we'll roll to one side in our fetal-like pose, just cradling our head into our arm. Our pose for new beginnings. I'm connected to the supply of love. Take this feeling with you as you leave the mat. That is when our true yoga begins. We'll meet in a seated position of choice. Hands come together at heart center, our Anjali Mudra as we tuck our chin under. And I just want to thank you all so very much for joining me, for allowing me to be your guide. It's a true honor. Namaste.